Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 on AM 560, The Answer. Not only do we talk about such great things as IRS and tax law, but we talk about other things that are going to pertain to you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the man of the hour, the man of the nation, the man that we all know and love, Attorney Stephen Leahy. Welcome, Attorney Stephen Leahy. Thank you so much.
I want to tell people the only reason why I come in from the side is because I'm the one that's up behind the camera, so I have to start the camera. So it's not like I'm trying to introduce myself, although I am introducing myself, or Jim actually introduces me. But we're going to do the show. We're going to start very quickly, and we're not going to watch the Cub game, are we, Jim?
No. Okay. Turn it off so that we can get this done quickly and go watch this. I like Friday afternoon games. Remember, we run out of here and go to places that have things.
Where have we been going lately, Jim?
Rosates.
Jim, move the microphone closer to you.
I got you. Is this good? Can I
you don't have to move it in front of your face, but just...
I will.
Don't look at your computer and then not talk into the microphone.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Northeastern Illinois, give me a call, Jim Leahy with At Properties, 847-271-3695. And if you have an IRS issue, which I know you do, that's why you're watching this video, call Open Tax Resolutions, 312-664-6649. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll get your answer.
Whatever it is.
You know, you do it all.
Okay, so let's do this.
Pursuant to Internal Revenue Service guidance, be advised that any federal tax advice contained in this program is not intended to be used, and it cannot be used by any person or entity for the purpose of avoiding any tax penalties that may be imposed by the Internal Revenue Service or any other U.S. federal taxing authority or agency, or promoting, marketing, or recommending to another party any transaction or matter addressed in this show. The opinions expressed by the host and the guests are their own and may not be used as authoritative advice. Any use of this material without the written consent of the host is strictly prohibited.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy, on AM 560, The Answer. Tune in every week at 5 for an informative discussion about IRS obligations, credit card debt, mortgage default, collection activity, and how to resolve these legal issues using tax resolution, debt settlement, mortgage loan modification, foreclosure defense, and bankruptcy. Your host is Stephen Leahy, and the principal at Open Tax Resolutions and the law office of Stephen Leahy, PC. Stephen is the author of Deal with Your IRS Problems Today. IRS and debt issues are serious, but there is help. There are resolutions. So get ready and take notes during the IRS Radio Hour. And now, here's your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy.
Hello, Chicago taxpayers. We are coming to you from Studio C here at AM 560 The Answer. This is the IRS Radio Hour.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This show is sponsored by the law office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, and Opum Tax Resolutions.
God bless you, Opum Tax Resolution.
Opum helps people solve their IRS problems. We help people with audits and levies, liens and garnishments, collections, unfiled tax returns, and payroll tax issues. We also help people with mortgage foreclosures, loan modifications, bankruptcy, and other debt-related issues. I'm going to say that again. And bankruptcy and other debt-related issues. Why? Because I'm going to talk about that on the show. We're going to talk about, because I get that question a lot. Can you help me with bankruptcy? The answer is yes. We'll talk about that in the Mr. Know-It-All segment. So if you have any of these problems, or if you know someone who does, you should give us a call at 312-664-6649. Again, that number is 312-664-6649, or visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. I am your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I want to introduce our technical producer, Deborah Schreiner.
Hey, Stephen. Good to see you.
Hello, Deborah. We did the podcast a little while ago. I kind of missed the Bruno Mars start at the for the show.
I miss it
Can't
all.
do it on the show, but the Bruno Mars. You have to watch it. Go to Facebook, watch the show on the podcast, and because we always do a podcast before the show, usually. I also want to introduce my nephew, my co-host, my realtor, my very good friend, Jim Leahy.
The kid has class, taste, finesse. What do you say to that? What do you say to that?
Deborah, best in the business, hands down. I say it every week, and I mean it every week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the IRS Radio Hour. That is right. Attorney Stephen Leahy was correct. We are going to talk about those things, those issues, those problems that you are encountering. But we're also going to talk about other things that's going to pertain to you, the Illinois and Chicago taxpayer, and also just a regular American citizen. Because we are broadcasting on a larger scale because we do the YouTube live feed. So remember, go on to YouTube and check us out so that you can get a live feed and have your questions answered real time. You know, we record Friday, show airs Sunday, so it's a great little it's a great tool to have.
It is a great tool.
So anyway,
We
the news roundup.
review and comment on the news.
We need to hire you an assistant because you cannot operate.
to
You cannot operate everything at the same time.
and I'm trying though. Someone has to do it.
I give you an A for effort.
A for effort. What we're not doing today is we're not going to watch the Cub game because that's distraction, and we're not going to be
Because
distracted.
we record Friday.
Because we have
show
things to
Sunday.
talk about.
Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there.
Oh, it is Mother's Day. Yes, Mother's Day. It kind of creeps up on me, that Mother's Day thing. So happy Mother's Day, Mom.
It creeps you out?
No, I said it creeps up on me. And my wife. Are you supposed to say Happy Mother's Day to your wife? I guess she's the mother of my children, so
Of course
she would
you
be
say Happy Mother's Day
to my wife.
To your wife.
Matter of fact, she wants me to dedicate Saturday to her as a gift.
My fellow Americans, this is a very special weekend in American life, a time specially set aside to honor our mothers and the mothers of our children. As we do, we acknowledge their role as the heart of our families and reinforce our families as the cornerstone of our society.
No, I didn't know that was coming, but nothing could be more appropriate than that, Deborah. I love that. I really do. Oh, the only thing. Oh, I was going to say the other thing would be better, but it wouldn't be better than Ronnie Reagan. But I bet you Trump has a good tribute to his mothers of America too.
I don't know.
All three of the mothers of his children.
I haven't heard, so I would not know on that.
Well, they're great. Okay, believe me when I tell you that they're great. Okay.
Don't worry, the feds collect record taxes.
Oh, did you
It's
see
okay.
that? That is such a. Okay, so I think they collected $500 billion in April, and they only spent $295 billion. So there was a big surplus in April. Now, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You know, that it goes if this was any other president, this would be the biggest news in the world. You know, that they're turning these things, it's turning around. There's a surplus. Now, in the end, it's not a big surplus, you know, in the scheme of things, but it's a surplus nonetheless. You got to stop somewhere spending more than you take in, and they did that in April. They took in more than they spent. And that's what we call a balanced budget, right? We never have that. We haven't had it for years. So I thought that was a very big story, and I don't think it got a lot of press, and it should have gotten a lot of press. What do you think about that, Tim? Yes, you should have got press. You don't think so?
Yeah, if you're going to be the president of the United States and you're going to take all the good, then you should, also take the bad. And
well, that's not
when
bad,
I know, but when the market goes up and down, you should own it. And we've seen the market go up and down a few times.
I agree with that.
You never take responsibility when the market's down, but when the market's up.
I give him credit because he has taken some credit.
I understand. Listen.
And again, I'm not.
You don't sound like you're not a Trumpeteer. You sound every day like you're a Trumpeteer.
I know. I'm trying.
Don't say that about him.
No, I don't. Saying. Actually, I'm not a Trumpeteer. I'm no Sean Hannity. Okay, no. I don't know if there's a bigger.
Heard here on this station, by the way.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a bigger a cheerleader for the president than Sean Hannity. Although, if you listen to Rush Limbaugh, he's a pretty big cheerleader for him. But he's kind of like me more than that it's more about the policies that he's doing, not about his personality and the other things that the president does. He just had this thing in Indiana I didn't watch a lot of it. I tuned in for some of it. I get it's this self-congratulatory stuff. I can live
I
without.
can't watch him speak.
But every president does this. I don't know if every president does this, but I don't. I get sick of it when Obama did it, and I get sick of it when he does it.
I can't.
I'm the best. Everything's the best. This is
Look
the
at what
biggest,
I
the
did.
best,
This
the
is
brightest.
great,
Yes,
isn't it? It's like stop it, man.
I agree with that.
Stop it.
I agree with that. It's just too much. And I agree with that.
It is.
And I understand why they do it, and I think you have to have, given where all the bad press he gets, I think someone's got to be out there giving him some good press, and at least these types of events help him put his message together to the American people. So I understand why he does it. I just can't watch too much of it. It's kind of.
Well, I understand.
It's kind of.
Listen, I understand. I really do. I just, it just comes down to this is the market just is jumping up too much, and it just seems kind of scary because eventually it's going to come back down.
Well, that's what markets do, right? They go up, they come down.
With the 2008 crash, people were getting duped with those subprime loans, and all of a sudden, it's just. You don't know what's going to be. Like, did we know what was behind the scenes? A very small amount of people really knew what was going on.
Well, I think a lot of people predicted that it was going to happen. Again, as you said, things go up. There's a bubble. You see the bubble happening. It was like the .com bubble. Everybody saw that they were overpriced. These stocks are overpriced. They got to come down, and that's just what happens.
Yeah, but people
happened with the home market. It was overpriced. It's got to come down.
It's easy to say it's.
And that's why they tell you
it's
that
got to come down. But when you have a retirement and all of a sudden,
I understand,
gone.
but that's why you can make more money in the market coming down by selling short than going up, because things fall very quickly. It takes a long time for them to grow, but stocks and things, value of things, when it starts falling,
it's like a credit report. Boy, it takes forever to build it up, but you miss one payment,
boom, you're back down.
Ya.
I agree with that, and but again, that's why you can make a lot of money on the downside of any market, very quickly. I don't know if you want to talk about Hillary and her scarves that she's working. She's got the back.
No, I don't want to talk about it because we don't have enough time here. Okay. What show? So we're running out of time. What we got lined up for the show?
I'm going
to
talk about the Illinois Department of Revenue versus the IRS. What's the difference? What's the similarities between those two agencies? Because usually if you owe the IRS, you're going to owe the Illinois Department of Revenue too.
Okay, and then we're also going to do Mr. Know-It-All. We're going to be doing a Trump segment because of the Iran deal this week. Yes. We're also going to talk a little sport. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show lined up for you. Remember, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Illinois, give me a call. Jim Leahy, 847-271-3695. Again, my name's Jim Leahy with @Properties. But remember, this show is sponsored by, and if you need help with IRS problems, Open Tax Resolution, 312-664-6649, or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Again, we got a great show lined up for you today, so make sure you have your pen, piece of paper, take notes, because we're going to be talking about stuff that's going to be very big for you, the Illinois taxpayer, here on AM 560, The Answer. Yeah. Oh, did you see that? I told that to somebody at the office today. I was like, "You think it's a bad day? I mean, you could have gotten 65,000."
Have you ever had a date like that? I dated this girl. Well, let's not say we dated, but anyway, I was in the hospital. She came and visited me.
You're doing a live
video. I know. She visited me in the hospital. It was like awkward. It was awkward.
I actually did have that happen too.
Why? Because you knew things weren't going anywhere.
Yeah,
it wasn't meant to really go anywhere anyway.
I had no idea that we were friendly like that.
I'm in a pretty pivotal moment of my life. Why are you here?
I guess that's a good example of where there's mixed signals between men and women, where the women maybe think the relationship is more serious. Don't get me going. I'm on the verge of being Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Your problem is
who just badmouthed.
I can't have you on the show because you are.
He's the one that diagnosed Kanye West as mentally unstable because of his support.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Kanye West is mentally unstable.
I understand, but again, when he's
you are a trumpeter.
When he's mentally,
don't ever tell people. Don't lie to these people.
When he's mentally unstable when he's mentally unstable on the left, they say, well, he's a free thinker and all this. But as soon as he turns against them, and all he said was, think for yourself. Oh my, we can't have people thinking for themselves. That's a terrible. What kind of message does that send to people? They have to think for themselves, Jim. So I'm not so much what he said but just the idea about him thinking for himself.
I knew so it's not bad. Just own it, man. I own it. How about this? I like Donald Trump. The guy wins.
He's a winner. Are you getting tired of winning?
And if that's if I have any potential clients out there, I'm not gonna be with them now because he likes this. Whatever. It is what it is. That's who I am. I don't. It is what it is.
I agree that's what you have to be. Who you are.
I will tell you one thing though. I can't stand the guy tweeting. It drives me insane. Somebody take that out of his hands.
It is what it is.
And get his hair fixed. What's going on?
He's not going to change.
I know he's not going to change. He's
his hair kind of sometimes looks better. You think of
you love him.
Think of the people think of the people that he's paying to make his hair look better. And it doesn't look good.
Not a trumpeter. He's got gray hair.
He has great hair. I said, think of the people that he's paying to make his hair look good, and it still doesn't look good. Just think of if he didn't have those people. He's rich,
I don't know why he thinks that's a good move.
That's a good move? It's a good look?
All set for the blog segment?
Let's do the blog segment. We're going to do the blog segment now, folks. Stay tuned. You'll see how this works.
Yeah, it's good.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
Welcome back. We have returned. This is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560 The Answer. I'm joined with Deborah Schreiner and Jim Leahy, I think his name is.
Yeah, that's right.
And we are the IRS Radio Hour. Did I already say that?
On AM 560
The Answer.
And you are.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy.
And you are with Open Tax Resolution.
Okay, you're feeding me lines.
We're just trying to have a fun time on this Mother's Day.
Oh, it is Mother's Day. I keep forgetting. Okay, let's do it.
It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, so it is Mother's Day. So, on this blog segment, I always like to talk about things that's happened in my office this last week. And I mentioned this a lot, that things kind of snowball. Or the same thing.
I like putting my mugs in the sink sometimes.
The same thing comes up over and over again. And this week, it was really about the Illinois Department of Revenue.
What was about?
IDOR. Most people, when
What about IDOR?
Most people, when you owe the IRS money, probably going to owe the state of Illinois too. So as I talk a lot on this show, that a lot of my clients have unfiled tax returns. So they haven't filed for some time. And I even have people who are what they call W-2 employees, right? So they're getting their the taxes are being taken out of their check. And so they think, well, I'll just let the government keep my refund, and it doesn't really matter. I think that's silly to let the government keep your refund. I think you should always file your tax returns. But what's happening, sometimes you owe, right? Well, what happens is most times when people have unfiled tax returns, they don't have all of the W-2s and all of the documents that they need to file their tax returns. So we have to go to the IRS to get the tax information so we can fill out the tax return. But the IRS does not keep state specific information. So any money they've taken out of your check for your Illinois taxes is not the IRS doesn't save that, so they don't have that information. So when we go to do your state tax return, we don't know how much you gave to the IRS. I mean, to the Illinois Department of Revenue these withdrawals from your check. And if you go to the Illinois Department of Revenue to try to find them, they don't have it either. They won't give it to you either. And so
that seems like a big issue.
No kidding, it's a big issue because what happens is now you can't prove that you've paid them any money. So you know what they want you to do, Jim?
Pay more.
Pay it again. Because you don't have any proof you've ever paid it. So now they say, let's say I do the tax return from 2 years ago. I owe the IRS some money, and then I owe the state of Illinois. I owe them $1,800, but they've taken it out of my check. Can you prove it? Well, no, I don't have the W-2, and I don't have any proof of it. Well, then, sorry, you'll have to pay it again. You'll have to pay that $1,800. Don't you have a record? Oh, we can't find it. We don't know where it is.
Oh, well, we don't need to keep
That's
records.
ridiculous.
That's your job.
Isn't that ridiculous that they don't even keep the record? You can't find it. And then what happens, they want you to pay it again. It's kind of like that we talked on the show before about gambling winnings. So I had a client. He was a big gambler, and he won $150,000 in 1 year. But he also lost $200,000 in that same year.
But he didn't tell people that.
No, because it was always winning.
Well, I won a lot.
But here's the thing with the federal government, right? You can deduct your losses as much as you won, so it has no effect on your tax return as long as you deduct it. So I won this much, and I bet this much, I lost it. So I can't take more losses than I won. I can only offset the winnings. But in Illinois, they don't. It's the way they calculate. They look at your adjusted gross income on your tax return. It's done after it's offline. It's called on another in a different schedule. You take it off your federal taxes. But Illinois, they just look at your adjusted gross income, and your adjusted gross income includes that money that you won, and then you pay tax on that money that you won. So even though you didn't win it, you still pay tax on it in Illinois, and that's the way it works. And that's
for
gambling winnings. And so that's another weird thing with the Illinois Department of Revenue. A lot of times I won't take a case for the Illinois Department of Revenue because they're so difficult to deal with. With the IRS, when you deal with the IRS, they have rules and regulations, and they're spelled out. You can go look them up, and you can say, well, according to this rule, you're supposed to do it this way. And they have everything spelled out. Illinois Department of Revenue, not so much. It's kind of more of a hit or miss. They do things what they want. I've gotten for instance, I did have a client. One of my first tax cases, matter of fact, was an older gentleman who owed the Illinois Department of Revenue a lot of money. We did an offer and compromise for him, and they settled for something it was very little money, $100 or $200, and he owed a lot. And they settled, so they did an offer and compromise for him. But they don't. So they do have these programs, but they don't utilize them very well. I don't like that word. They don't use
utilize.
I don't like the word because if you're going to say utilize, say use. So they don't use it very much. It's not available to many people, and there's no spelled out program where you can go out and fill out the sheet and go out and do it. And a lot of times
that's what people are having a problem with is they go to Turbo or they use other forms to fill out their taxes.
That's right.
And they go, oh, I filled it out. Goes, no. You didn't. You still have to send in the money. You still have to.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that.
Exactly. But again, now what happens with the Illinois Department of Revenue is they send it to a private collector. Very quickly, they'll take your whatever you owe them, and they'll send it to the private collector. And that private firm is a law firm, and once they get it, they want 33% up front. They're gonna add 33% to the bill because the Illinois Department of Revenue wants everything you owe them. They want it all, and then this company wants 33% for doing.
But I gave you my house and my car.
Yeah. Well, and they will take your house.
What else you got?
So here's another thing.
Shoes. Give me shoes.
We talked a lot about the IRS that they can come after your wages. They can go after your bank account. They can go after your possessions. Well, the Illinois Department of Revenue can do all that, and now the department. The IRS goes after your passport. Well, they get this from, that's why I call it the Chicagoization of the federal government under Obama. Because what happened is, here in Illinois, if you owe the Illinois Department of Revenue, and they will take all your licenses away. Mm-hmm. So if you have a real estate license, trying to make a living. Oh, no, you owe us money? You don't have a real estate license.
No,
Oh, you're a lawyer? You don't get a lawyer's license.
Yeah, no way.
And almost, how many occupations now you need a license? Almost all of them. There's very few now.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, it's just a taxing authority. It's just, oh no, you want to be a hairdresser? You got to have a license. I can't think of something that's not.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Everything's licensed. I had to get a license to wait tables. Like,
you need a waiter. Serve liquor.
You need
serve liquor.
You need a liquor license, and you need your Bassett certification because you need to know that you know what you're talking about with beer because you just can't learn it on your own.
And so if you owe the Illinois Department of Revenue money, they won't let you serve because they'll take your license away from you.
Oh yeah, it's funny because there's a reason why I always made the argument before I went back to school. I always said, well, there's a reason why I'm waiting tables. I can't take tests.
No, this guy take a test.
What's wrong with you?
But anyway, this is what the difference is between the Illinois Department of Revenue and the IRS. The IRS is the most feared agency in the federal government, and they don't hold this candle to the Illinois Department of Revenue. They are terrible. My own opinion. Now, I know people over there, nice people, hardworking people, but the program, the way they do things, what they're after, they need the money. They want it tomorrow. They wanted it yesterday, and they use everything that the IRS has plus. They use it all, and they come after you, and they want you to pay.
They use Rocco in the back alley.
Now, the good part is, and here's another thing, IRS has a statute of limitations of 10 years. Well, the statute of limitations for the Illinois Department of Revenue, 20 years.
Really?
Yes. So they come after you for 20 years. Oh, that was like a long time ago.
We've never talked about that. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen, and we're talking just in Illinois because we're trying to branch out because, again, we do the live YouTube feed so other people can pick up, but people who are listening this Sunday evening, that's going to be an issue. If you owe the IRS money, Attorney Stephen Leahy's correct. You're going to end up possibly and probably owing Illinois money. So listen.
Or whatever state you're in. Now, most states, not every state has a state tax, but most do.
But here's the thing, what I'm trying to say. If you have a problem, get it solved and call Attorney Stephen Leahy with Open Tax Resolution, 312-664-6649 or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of scary stuff. Hopefully you took notes, got that phone number down, 312-664-6649, and you're going to come right back after the commercial break because when you do, we're going to be talking about the Trump's tearing up the Iran deal. So we got great stuff coming your way here on AM 560, The Answer.
They didn't hear that when I said, love it, love it.
They thought you said vacuum.
That's a swear word, Jim. I wouldn't say that. Vacuum's not, but it looks like you say a swear word.
So you're doing the Trump segment here?
We're going to do a Trump segment, I guess. Jim said so that's what we're going to do. He's the boss. Nah, not really. On that segment today, he's the boss. So when it flops, it's your fault, Jim.
Well, there's also to talk about within the Trump segment that the hostages were released. That's a big deal.
I agree with you. That is a big deal. That's bigger than the Iran thing, I think. I agree with you. And boy, does it irk them. Does it irk the left that he got them released?
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy on AM 560, The Answer. Attorney Stephen Leahy brings his passion and expertise to your radio each and every week during the IRS Radio Hour. Tune in, take notes, and be educated. Learn your options resolving financial obstacles that face so many. And now, back to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
I'm so glad you can join us again. We have returned to the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560, The Answer. We're here on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
That's right.
If you're a mother. and even if you're not. To my mother, happy Mother's Day.
There's talk.
To my wife, happy Mother's Day. To my wife's mother, happy Mother's Day. Day.
There are people that are saying they were changing Mother's Day to include everybody instead of just mothers. It's like,
I know. We want to include everybody, too.
Why do you have to?
Don't we have Father's Day? Well, what if you're not a mother or a father then? Well, then you don't have a day.
I think there's the idea that if someone's an aunt or an aunt,
no, that's not.
If someone's a teacher, there are different ways that people can be a mother figure in someone's life. That's all I'll say.
No. That's not the issue, though. The issue was the fact that they're talking about people who don't have children. They want to be included, and then
that's what she's saying. Maybe you're somebody's auntie.
Well, anyway, we could go.
But anyway, this is where we go into this whole thing about
No.
Trying to be inclusive.
Don't do it.
We still should. There's some people we have to pull up and say, "This is your day, okay, Mom." There's lots of mothers out there, and being a mom is a very difficult job.
Yes, it is.
And so I give them a lot of credit.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. And being a wife and a mother is a very difficult job. Okay, I'll just say that.
We're talking about Trump. Trump.
Take a look at my Twitter account.
President Trump.
Sort of amazing.
We're talking about Trump. Trump.
America first.
President Trump.
Together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
So I was watching this, about this, the rally he had in Indiana, and he's saying things like, let's make America great again. Let's try to pull together as Americans, and everybody's chanting USA, USA, and I'm thinking, how can you argue with something like that? Who in America doesn't want America to be great? Oh, what a terrible thing for him to say. How can he say something like that? It's like, how can you argue with it?
The guy's getting stuff done.
Don't, because I'm not even going to go there.
No.
You'll call me a trumpeter. No, I don't want to be called a trumpeter.
Listen, he's getting the Iran deal. He's getting just tearing it up. And now Iran's going after Israel. And did you see what they said? When it rains in Israel, it pours in Iran. That is like the. Listen, I'm not. I
wouldn't be messing with.
Hold on. I want nothing but peace and prosperity.
I do too.
I really do.
This is how you get it.
When you say words like that,
this is how you get it.
That's kind of scary. That's incredibly scary, but it's also kind of cool.
We talk about peace.
What a great saying.
Peace through strength, right? Peace through strength.
How about the hostages freed?
Now this is amazing to me. In that this didn't get bigger. This is big news. This is huge. That he gets these people out. I was looking for the tweet because one of Hillary's top people tweeted, imagine you get out. Good news is you get out of the prisoner of war camp. Bad news is you come home and your president's Trump. It's like, you really think that that's what they're thinking? Yeah. Oh boy, what a bad thing! I got out of the gulag. I got out of the gulag.
Send me back.
Isn't it interesting to think whether Hillary would have been able to negotiate that?
Well, no, I don't think she would try because she would. They have a different philosophy on the way things have to work. Yeah. Okay, you have to go through all these channels.
She tried going through it. She was so bureaucratic and trying to be that kind of globalist mentality that, we're all in this together.
What did Obama do? He had to buy him out.
Yeah.
Right? He had to give him money to get him.
Exactly.
She would never have the because the pressure that it takes to get them out means you have to put the sanctions in, means you have to talk tough, means you have to act like you're going to go in after them. If you're not going to do any of those things, how are you going to? What kind of negotiation do you have? The only other thing you can do is what he did is, well, we'll give you lots of money. Okay, you want to let them go then? Oh, and capitulate to them. Oh, you want to capitulate? Oh, well, then we'll let them go. Or you say, if you don't let them go, we're going to come get them. We're going to come. You're going to have a tough. You're going to have a tough time.
And guess what? You're not going to have nuclear weapons. It's not happening. Well, yeah, we are. Okay, well then
so either we're going to
prepare.
Either we're going to come up with an agreement, or we're going to take them away from you. Which one do you want? And so that's that peace through strength thing that I don't think Hillary could have done because she doesn't believe in the strength, of the using American strength. And again, this is another.
Iran never followed the deal anyway.
I agree with that, Jim.
It was such a backwards deal.
Terrible. They never signed it. It wasn't a treaty. It was nothing.
No, but it wasn't even. Nothing. No, it wasn't even that. They wouldn't even let him check like some of their top military bases.
I know it was nothing.
It's kind of like saying, "Oh yeah," to the IRS. Yeah, you can come here and look at my. Just don't look at that bank account.
That's right.
You can't look at that one.
So anyway, I think that was. I think he had a good week. If we're If we're chalking up weeks, this was a good week for the president.
I'm cheering for the United States of America.
Thank you, Jim, because that's what I'm cheering for. I don't always like what Trump does, but when he's right, he's right, and he's right.
As long as I have somebody,
he got the hostages out, which is huge.
As long as I have somebody with American values, which is open tax resolution as American values. 312-664-6649, or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS, ladies and gentlemen. What a great show we have lined up. We have more coming up, especially the Mr. Know-It-All segment, where attorney Stephen Leahy's going to give us answers on those questions that are burning deep inside about taxes here on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm trying to look into camera.
I nearly lost what I was going to say there for a second. I paused.
I think you did.
That's back. This is why we're doing the live, so you can see what's going on behind the scenes.
This is what happens.
Remember that guy commented and said I looked like an idiot?
No, which one?
I look like
that was me.
Oh. Oh my God.
Anyway, I just think it's this all of the stuff that's going on. It's kind of amazing. You know what? Again, if this FBI stuff comes out that they plan, that the Obama administration planted a spy in the opponent's campaign.
We'll see. Let it just pan out.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Man, Iran and Israel look like they're going at it.
Don't worry about it, because if they go at it, Israel's going to win.
Well, don't say that just yet.
Well, I just don't.
You don't want war. Just let's.
You got to defend yourself. They're throwing missiles at Israel. What are they supposed to do?
Israel and Iran lurched closer to an all-out war on Thursday after the Israeli military struck almost all of Iran's bases in Syria.
I know almost all of them. We're not. Again, it's full force. We're not going to play around with you. We're coming after you.
I heard Benjamin Netanyahu say that for each time Israel is striked, they will strike back sevenfold.
That's what he said. When it rains in Israel, it pours in Iran, which is kind of a really cool saying. But it's, I don't want.
That's what. That's what the Israelis always do. It's and I'm not saying that, I'm not condoning this or anything, but if a terrorist kills an Israeli, they go after the terrorist and their family. Okay, they don't play around with you. Now, I'm not condoning that, because I don't think you should go after people's innocent family members. But and why do they do that? So you don't mess around with us. Don't come after us. And that's what it used to be like that with America. You didn't mess with American citizens because in a foreign nation, because if you did, the American government came after you and they crushed you. And now when you get people like Obama and Hillary and all these people in there where they kind of let you do whatever they want, they think it's wrong, well, then they start taking advantage of Americans, start taking you hostage and things like that.
If we get rain, they'll get a flood. Ooh.
All set?
Yes, let's do this.
Mr. Know-It-All?
Mr. Know-It-All, yes.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
I am the tax man. Here on AM 560, The Answer. I'm here with Deborah Schreiner and Jim Leahy, and we have a new set. We have another segment today. It's not new, do we?
It's a great segment. I know it is. I can feel it.
I don't.
Mr. Know-It-All.
Mr. Know-It-All.
Let's start over.
No, don't worry about it.
Let's start over because
it's already called.
That's all right.
Oh, what happened? Because it's live.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
We can still start over. They'll understand.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
I'm the tax man here on AM 560 The Answer. Joined here with Deborah Schreiner and Jim Leahy. And let's go to the next segment.
And now, here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Know-It-All, the segment where attorney Stephen Leahy gives us his infinite wisdom on all things taxes.
Are you going to ask the question, or should I answer the question?
I think that you should ask the question.
I will ask the question. Here's the question I got this week. Attorney Leahy, can you help me file in a bankruptcy case? And the answer is, of course I can help you file bankruptcy in a bankruptcy case. Well, that's part of the thing. That's kind of what led me into helping people with taxes. First, I started helping people with bankruptcy. Then I started helping people with foreclosures. And then that led me into modifications. And that led me into helping people with the IRS some years ago. It's many years ago now that I've been helping people with the IRS. So, and one of the remedies to helping people with IRS problems is bankruptcy. So if you're trying to solve an IRS problem and you go to this outfit, and I'm not going to mention a lot of these outfits. I had a guy hired me yesterday. He hired an outfit from California, and he paid them over $5,500, and they did nothing for him. For 2 years, they have done nothing for him. And so this happens, though. But anyway, you go to these outfits, they're not attorneys. So if you have 6 things you can do, one of them is do nothing, so you don't want to do that. So there's only 5 things you can do. The other one's pay them. And a lot of times, if you're coming to see me, you can't pay them. So now there's down to 4 things you can do. If one of those things is bankruptcy, and the people that you're talking to can't file bankruptcy for you, well, now you're down to 3. That's 25% of all your options are out the window. And oftentimes, if that's the best way for you to get out of your IRS problem or some other problem, then they can't even offer you that, and they won't offer you that. So you won't even have your best option available to you. They won't even present it to you as an option because they can't help you with that. But again, that's what we're talking about, tax stuff. But outside of taxes, I help people who file bankruptcy a lot, even if they don't have tax problems. Now, again, granted, most of the bankruptcies I file involve some sort of taxes because those are the people I help the most.
Remember, there's different bankruptcies too. I'm not saying for you, but for people out there, there's different bankruptcies. There's different options you can do as well. And exploring that with attorney Stephen Leahy is a great way of that's why you call a professional. Exactly. That's why you.
So if you're thinking of filing bankruptcy, if you know someone who was, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be taxes. It could be just because I have a lot of credit card debt, or somebody's suing me. This happens a lot. Then they get a judgment against me. When someone starts coming after your wages or your bank account, that's when you have to take some action, because you need to take some legal action to protect yourself. I always tell people there's two types of obligations in this world, at least 2. You have legal obligations and moral obligations. I always point out that Abraham Lincoln filed a bankruptcy some years ago. Honest Abe filed bankruptcy, okay, because he understood that there's these two obligations. He had to protect himself from the legal obligations, because if you don't do that, you're not going to ever recover. He felt that he had a moral obligation to pay people back, but bankruptcy gave him the time and the freedom to start making money back, and then he paid everybody back. It took him some years, but he did it. It's because he felt he had this moral obligation to pay people.
So you're saying if Abraham Lincoln could do it, you can do it?
I'm saying that your moral obligations shouldn't stand in the way of you protecting you and your family through the legal means. That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of people say, I don't believe bankruptcy is ever going to be right for me because I feel a moral obligation.
How many times do you see that when people come in?
I hear it a lot. And again, that's when I have to explain to them that sometimes the best way to fulfill your moral obligations, which is paying people back, those that you feel a moral obligation to do this, is to protect yourself from these legal ramifications. And the legal ramifications is they're going to to start taking your wages, and that's going to affect your family, and you can't let that happen. You got to always protect your family first, and that's my opinion. And again, so if you're thinking about, hey, maybe bankruptcy is the right thing for me to do, I have a lot of credit card debt, I have some judgments against me, I have a lot of health issues and a lot of bills, because these are the reasons that people file bankruptcy. Another big reason why people file bankruptcy, divorce. So you're used to a two-income household. You have built a household based on two incomes. You split. Now you're trying to maintain a two-income household with one income. Makes it almost impossible to do. And so divorce is often a leading factor to why people file bankruptcy. Again, divorce, health problems. A very large percentage of people who have health issue who file bankruptcy have health issues and a lot of health bills. And so this is one way to try to recover from that, because that's something beyond your control. And again, if they go out and they get judgments against you, they start attacking your wages, you're not going to be able to function. So you got to protect yourself from these legal problems through legal means. This is legal. Bankruptcy is a legal remedy to some legal problems. Anyway, I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, go on Facebook, go on YouTube, call Open Tax Resolution. I'll give you that phone number in a little bit, too, and ask your question so that you can get it answered. Let's get this problem solved. What is the one thing that we talk about on the show? The theme: address your problem early. That way it doesn't get worse. Address it now. Let us take care of it. That is what Open Tax Resolution is there to do.
Right on.
312.
Don't give your number, Jim.
312-664-6649, or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub. They'll fight the IRS. I'm all thrown off now.
Hub.
Anyway, it's going to be your hub. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed that segment. If you want to watch it again, go on YouTube or go to ChicagoTaxTeam.com and stay tuned. So we wrap the show up on here on AM 560.
The Answer.
I'm off right
the
now.
IRS Radio Hour
I'm working
style.
on so as you ladies and gentlemen know out there, I'm a realtor, and I'm working actually for a client right now, and I'm trying to do some things behind the scenes.
I'm working by helping you answer your questions. That's what I do.
And I can answer your questions too regarding real estate. And guess what? If I can't answer them, I know some people who can, but I'm no lawyer, and I cannot give legal advice.
Not even on the air.
Nope.
You haven't even played one on TV. On the radio you have. No, you never played one. Okay, we're going to do the final segment. And guess what we're going to talk about? Mother's Day. It's going to be Mother's Day. My wife doesn't want to go to the ball game on Mother's Day. And she doesn't want me to go to the ball game on Mother's Day either.
Where are you going?
Not to the ball game.
Go to the Italian kitchen. It's going to be.
Remember,
ladies and gentlemen,
we can't get into the Italian kitchen.
Yes, you can. I'm working.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you're in the North Shore area, go to Italian Kitchen. Deerfield's Italian Kitchen. Absolutely amazing in downtown Deerfield, Illinois. Phenomenal food. Just absolutely wonderful. And I pick up a shift.
Is it Italian food?
Great Italian food. Great the owners are the best. They really are. They really are just, it's the greatest.
Gun right advocate.
That's right. Well, that's right. He is a Second Amendment supporter for sure.
Gun rights.
Constitutionalist is what I like to say.
I'm a constitutionalist.
Well, that's what he is as well. He has a constitution right when you walk through the building.
I've met him before, but I don't know if I've ever sat and talked to him. I've met him several times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, stop by there. Great food.
And if you like this whole setup that way, tell me how much you like the new camera, because it's so bright and shiny.
Enjoy.
And new. It's good.
I'm having fun.
It is. It's kind of, again, it's kind
We're
of.
We're going to wrap this show up here, ladies and gentlemen. And we got the Cubs game that we're going to go watch.
Should the picture be up a little bit more, you think?
No, it's fine.
Okay. I'm watching here on my iPad.
You were just not a multitasker when it comes to the technology. We do need an assistant.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's pay.
Oh, there goes that vulture. I put that on my Facebook page about the vulture last week. I didn't get a lot of information. This tree that the vulture was in is now full of flowers. Very beautiful. I love flowers. Let's do the final segment.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy on AM 560, The Answer. Attorney Stephen Leahy brings his passion and expertise to your radio each and every week during the IRS Radio Hour. Tune in, take notes, and be educated. Learn your options resolving financial obstacles that face so many. And now, back to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
But I would not give you false hope, no, on the strange and awful day when the mother and child reunion is on the emotional way.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Not ladies and gentlemen, just ladies. Happy Mother's Day to you.
That's right. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Very good choice of music, Deborah.
Very well done. This is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer. This is Mother's Day, so we hope all you mothers are out there enjoying.
All you mothers. Jim's kind of a mother.
I'm not going there.
I understand. I'm not. You shouldn't do that. But remember now, if you have bankruptcy problems, call me. I can help you with bankruptcy, too. That's what the last segment was about. I can help you
What's
with
your
bankruptcy.
phone number?
312-664-6649.
Just like mothers want to help their children with their problems,
Exactly.
you want to help all people with their IRS problems,
Although I want to
Stephen.
be compensated. Mothers don't want to be compensated.
I help.
That is what is the amazing.
Allegedly, they don't.
That is the amazing thing about mothers. It's an amazing thing.
They're
It really is.
selfless.
They really are.
I
I'm
help people too.
I'm a big admirer. I think watching my wife at work is amazing. It's amazing. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
No.
Did I
No.
Did I interrupt you again?
No, you did not.
Do we know what the score of the Cubs game is right now, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's not talk about it because it's Sunday. It's Mother's Day. And
We're recording
on Friday. So we may win, we may lose. It doesn't matter. We're all just...
Stop it. Stop it. Don't you ever watch this show?
I do watch the show. I know.
Every prediction we've ever made on here. You're not predicting.
I'm not
We've
predicting.
done it before.
I didn't predict.
Stop it.
Okay.
Don't talk about sports and live events. Done.
We always talk about sports on this segment.
You know, but we talk about things that happened in the past.
Okay.
That's why we talked about the NFL.
Wait, so let's talk about that.
Did you watch, did you see Winnipeg beat Nashville last night?
I did not.
Nashville.
I
Bye-bye.
did get a text. I did get a text from my friend Johnny who said the Predators are about to lose Game 7 at home. That's terrible. That hurts. So Game 7 at home. You're not supposed to lose that one. That's supposed to be yours.
That's tough.
I know. That's okay. I'm happy to see the Predators gone since they beat those Hawks
I'm happy to
last year.
see Dustin Byfuglien back in the finals.
That's key. I think
it's going to be Predators, Golden Knights.
I have an affinity for Dustin Byfuglien.
I want the Predator, or not the Predators. I want the
Winnipeg.
I want Winnipeg to beat the Golden Knights. Whoever let that team happen is ridiculous.
I just had this argument with my son Jake about this because I think it's wrong that they're there this on the first
incredibly
year.
wrong.
Oh, this has to be wrong, Dad. Why should we let a new team come in and pick up? Well, they didn't get all the good players. Well, then how are they winning if they didn't get all the good?
They're absolutely killing it.
I just thought that.
Who gave them Marc-Andre Fleury?
They picked
Who let that happen?
I agree with that.
I said that at the beginning of the year. Who let this happen?
When you're coming into the league, you should have bad players, like the worst team that's already there. You shouldn't give them all these great players.
The Blues, though, their first year in the 60s when they started, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals and they lost.
I did not know that.
They did.
I did not know that.
I might be wrong. Maybe it was their second year, but I know that it was relatively...
It's like Tampa when they went to the World Series so early in their existence.
What happens? What are you going to do? I am pulling for Winnipeg, though. And the finals start tonight. Conference finals start tonight, Friday.
Who's your favorite Winnipeg Jet?
Dustin Byfuglien.
Oh, well, now it's Dustin.
But it used to be...
Bobby Hull was a Jet.
No,
Jet,
who
Jet,
else?
Jet.
No, he was the Golden Jet. I know. But
he went to the Jets after the...
I know he did. It
was a different league at the time, though.
Who... we're running out of time. We'll figure it out
Go
after
Cubs.
the show.
Hello, mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
Remember, Open Tax Resolution is there for you. 312-664-6649. And visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your help to fight the IRS. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into our Mother's Day special of the IRS Radio Hour. Stay tuned because more great programming is coming up here on AM 560.
The Answer.
Shame on me for not knowing this.
What
the Black Hawk.
Thank everyone who's still watching.
Yes, we're still watching. We're not done,
the
though.
Black Hawk that scored the second goal against in the 17 seconds against.
Oh, that was
Shaw.
No.
It was who got sick?
No, Boland. Dave Boland. It was Dave Boland. No, it was not who got sick.
That's
he scored
right,
the first goal. Dave Boland scored the second, and Dave Boland if I'm not mistaken, played for Winnipeg.
Is that right? I did not know that. Did not know that.
A lot of those Hawks go over there. Yeah, Winnipeg had a lot of them. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into our show. We hope you enjoyed. It's very informative, or we try to make it. Remember, only way we can. Yeah,
comment below, and tell us about the picture quality.
No, don't tell us about the. Okay, tell us about the picture
interested.
quality, but also too comment below and tell us what's on your mind. What questions do you have, so we can answer them for you.
Right.
This is what makes this show so powerful, because we're broadcasting to you live, but this show is going to air Sunday, and by the time you watch this, it's not live. So have a chance to sit back and ask a question. If you have a problem, reach out. If Attorney Stephen Leahy cannot answer it, he knows somebody who can. And that's the same with me. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Illinois, give me a call. I want to make sure I help you. So if I can't help you with your particular situation, I know somebody who will take care of you, because I work with top-notch realtors in the North. Sure, I really do.
I know you do.
And that's what's great about being with At Properties. I work with the best of the best. Give me a call. We'll get your. We will take care of you.
I was Ted Knight in Caddyshack. Top notch. Okay.
Top notch. Yeah, I do.
So also subscribe. Okay, we need subscribers, so we want you to subscribe.
That's right. Subscribe, like, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your family, tell your mother, and tell her mother's mother. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week.